Action.
All right, welcome to the latest episode of the Coleman Power Organic Fitness Podcast. I have the latest and greatest of the guests here, Brendan Guinan. Welcome to the show.
How you call, man? How you getting on?
We're going good. If you haven't heard about Brendan Guinan, he is one of the extraordinaire regenerative farmers of Ireland. All right, farming in a forest, but he'll most certainly introduce and tell you a tiny bit about himself. But we've actually brought him on to talk all about the likes of the next of the organic and regenerative cycles called Strawberries and Cream, starting on the 16th of August to the 21st of August. Brendan, let's get into it this week's show.
How you call, man? Yeah, I'm a lunatic farmer that farms in a forest in Portlaoise. So we do pigs, cattle, hens, turkeys, chicken, bees, firewood, and anything you can get from a forest, basically, right? Using any nitrates, any Roundup, any toxic chemicals. And then we direct sell everything through our website, fearviafarm.ie. Now, the food and the selling is one part of it. The events we organise, which we have teamed up with you for years now, and has really aligned with what the values and the ethos of what we're trying to do. The events are actually almost 50% of our activities are events, and the events are always based around good organic and regenerative food, about fitness, about well-being, about bringing people together as a community, about slowing down, and basically grounding yourself with good people. And that's where Grounded in Soil came from. It's an organization of farmers and business people who have come together to promote our values, basically.
Yeah, and with the next events that we're going to talk about all now for the next, say, as long as I can get Brendan, because he's a busy man between doing deliveries, looking after kids, wives, partners, and everything else in between. Right, so Brendan, the farms that we have here in total, like we're certainly on this cycling of the regenerative farms in Ireland, we have, I'm going to say, Siobhán Hubbard in Lismore, all right, with New Barn Farm.
Waterford.
We also have Ballymaloe that we're calling into this year. Delighted to collaborate with most certainly Dorina, Alan, and everyone else inclusive. We have Peter Twomey from the likes of Glenbrook Farm. We are then into Kerry with Michael Gleeson. Tell me, that's one of your connections that we have so far is
Yeah,
correcting it, pronouncing it's O'Hare Farm, isn't it?
Ballyhare Organic
Ballyhare,
Farm.
Ballyhare
He
Organic
does
Farm.
he does traditional Kerry cows, and organic barley and wheat as well, and but he direct sells all his meats through uh, both as beef and as rose veal. So it's a really unique product that he produces. He doesn't need any advertising, same as most organic or regenerative farms. If you're direct selling and you build that connection, you've actually built a community around you who wants your produce. But he's delighted to be connected with the cycle this year, and really agrees with what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and for people that come to that particular farm, the Kerry cow is, I suppose, a traditional Irish breed. Brendan, do a little bit of describing there, more certainly, just for the people who don't know what a Kerry cow is. I don't know if I ever told you, or my father, Pat, might be some of you listeners or viewers may know my dad. This is his third year being heavily employed as a medic, driver, first
Yeah,
aid,
general dog's
captain.
body. Yeah, motivation man as well. Yeah, he also keeps you in check too.
Uh,
No one else. Coleman listens to nobody else, only Pat.
But that's after sidetracking me. What my point was there on that thought is that when my dad was growing up, they actually on their we call it a small patch of ground more than the farm. Well, it was his farm. They had a Kerry cow that they milked.
Yes.
Yeah,
Kerry Kerry cows are one of the few animals that have never been um, they're as close to original breed as possible. They've never really been bred for commercial reasons because they were seen as being so far away from commercial. So their milk is A2 milk, So it's very easy to digest. It is the cow herself. A large Kerry cow would be 450 kilos, which would be the size of a not much bigger than a calf, really. So it's not viable as a beef breed. Their average milk yield is very low as well, but the quality of that milk is unbelievable. So it's if you want as close to what a cow would have been like 200-300 years ago, that's a Kerry cow. So very easy to digest the milk. Now their temperament is a little bit flighty, if you want to call it that, because they're used to being outwintered, not being handled that much. They're the type of cow that treads lightly on the soil. So you don't need sheds, you don't need concrete, you don't need anything like that. You could actually outwinter your cow. She'll do just as good out as in. She'll actually probably do better out than in. And so it's a unique breed that a couple of trailblazers are really preserving the breed and actually increasing its genetics now again, which is very important.
And that is something that a lot of people would have not ever heard about. Those, I suppose, having lighter animals on the likes of the field. A lot of people may have heard of the Aberdeen Angus, the black cow we will often see in, say, fields across Ireland, but also those breeding cows which are black and white. So we're going for we're going to different farms that have uniqueness about them in all different, areas of farming across Ireland. So this is our third year in doing it, if I didn't mention that already. We've done the Malin to Mizzen, the longest Malin to Mizzen, which we have made a documentary about, and you haven't most certainly seen that documentary, you've got to. It's at private screenings all across Ireland, right, at different times of the year, because myself and Brendan will have to and do have to organise that. But if anyone is listening to this and would like a private screening in a particular community, in a particular farm, you most certainly get in contact with us just directly, and we'll try and organise that to our best of our ability. What we're going to actually do now is, what happened there is Brendan, typical, jumps the gun. I was going to start at the first farm, being in Waterford, a lovely county, probably my favourite in Ireland, I will have to say. So we'll start at the start now, and we'll most certainly, after including Michael Gleason's farm already. So Siobhán Hubbard is the first of the stops, right? And she is someone who is a free range and organic producer, both of which we know very well, and not a million miles away from myself in West Waterford. So as a result of that, we'll be cycling to Siobhán Hubbard's farm on the first day, and most certainly sampling her produce of high quality and in-season fruit and vegetables, as well as potatoes that she has grown herself with certainly her husband, and is one of the very few organic producers of pork in Ireland. Isn't that right, Brendan?
Yes, yeah. It's sorry, you actually got cut off there for a second. I don't know, did you notice that? Can you edit that out? I presume you can. Okay, because I lost you there for a minute. Right? So you were talking about, is it Siobhán Hubbard with the pigs?
Yes.
Okay, Siobhán Hubbard with the pigs. It's very, very difficult to run a certified organic pig farm because the cost of the feed is so high. Now, the way you get around that is you grow a lot of your own feed, and that's where the regenerative and organic kind of come together, where you have different enterprises working together for the benefit of the whole farm. You can't have, say, an industrial organic pig unit because it's extremely expensive to run.
Right, so that's one of our first stops that we have in, I'm going to say, this event called Strawberries and Cream. And the next one that we are most certainly collaborating with is Ballymaloe. A lot of people would and have heard of the well-known Ballymaloe name, and that is something is our second stop. at
Yeah.
on the 17th of August, right? And there will be a full, I'm going to say, meal for everyone who attends. And I know the tickets will, and if not already when this podcast comes out, maybe sold for this particular event in itself. And it's great to mostly collaborate with Darina, Rory, and mostly Rachel on this particular stop.
Yeah, and Ballymaloe is 100 acres organic farm. They went organic, Jesus, 60, 70, 60 years ago, I think now. And because it was unviable for them to farm the way they were farming. And so they were one of the trailblazers in organic farming. And they developed the cookery school then, they developed the raw milk, the market gardening. Do you know a fact about Ballymaloe? They're the most densely most densely employed farm in Europe. It's crazy. There's over 100 people working on the farm at the moment, and so as regards, if you talk about the future of farming and kind of feed the world, kind of regenerative and organic farming, feed the world, and where are people going to go with AI and you know, when they lose their jobs in tech? This is the solution. What Ballymaloe is doing will, like, it will employ people, it will feed people, and it will also build soil and build community. That's what we're trying to work with. So I've been supplying Darina the last couple of years with produce from our farm, and I've built up a very solid relationship. And Darina is one I highly admire what she's done, and we're only kind of trotting behind her really at the moment, but we're delighted to be associated with her and every other farm on this route. Yes. So Darina is going to turn around and bring us on it's going to be a 3-course meal, and then we're going to have a farm tour, and she's going to bring us through the organic gardens right the way up through the full production of the farm. So it's going to be a unique event to unveil how they do it, what to do, and Darina will answer any question you have.
Yep, so that one's, I'm going to say, a hotly ticketed event for anyone who wants to most certainly visit and tour the farm as well as taste the food. Right, and our third stop then, a very good friend of ours, Peter Twomey from Glenbrook Farm and North Cork, someone who also is practically in the city providing free range pork, and now has niched into the free range chickens, and also has lamb, and now has his first, as of probably this month, if not last month, has beef now available to his customers. And it's such a unique setting where he's literally looking across Cork City, because the town, as in most counties, has come out to the country, and he's now surrounded by these houses, but that's in a great position for him. And he is now opening up to his doors to the general public for different, I'm going to say, fork or farm to fork table events. And this is going to be one of those unique times where you can gain advantage of that farm tour, tasting, and more certainly Peter and Kate, who most certainly run the farm and is no stranger to either myself or Brendan.
Yeah, like, his farm has been engulfed into Cork City, and most farmers would have sold the land for development prices and got out. Peter's not that type of guy. He wants to feed the people of Cork City. He wants to welcome people in. He's opened a farm shop. He does so many events, food events on the farm as well. He's a trailblazer in the regenerative movement as well. And he actually supplies Ballymaloe with pigs too. And so all these connections are built up between one another through events like this.
Yeah, and then we cycle way on in out of Cork and into the likes of, I'm going to say, Kerry, and as we talked about Michael Gleason's farm in itself. We are then moving on to, I'm going to say, Kate Carmody's most certainly a Beal Farm, B-E-Fada A-L, right? Who is an individual who is supplying raw, most certainly cheese, which is quite a unique, I'm going to say, product. And as we have done this for our 3 years in total, this is the first of the farms that we'll get to sample this at the particular site where it's made. It's dairy, raw, I'm going to say, milk, cheese, provided to people of the, I'm going to say, Kerry area. But not only that, she's also due to open the likes of a farm shop, and is someone who is have huge history in producing and most certainly using her own produce and selling to the general public. Again, there's a link here for people and regenerative farms to connect up with, I'm going to say, individuals who want the best food they possibly can gain the advantage of. Right, so we have the final of the stops directly after that. It is most certainly the urban co-op. Okay, and Anne has been someone who has Anne Maher been most certainly someone who has previously been on the likes of this podcast. It is a pleasure to mostly connect with themselves and for them to host us as the final stop on this event, being the strawberries and cream. Okay, so after that we will be sitting down to a full sit-down meal with the likes of everyone who attends the not only likes of the 2 Kerry most certainly sites, that is also going to be at the urban co-op, right? And Shane himself, who if you haven't heard of, is Anne's son, Shane Maher, a really good friend of mine, and has been in several events that we've done in the past. But know that Shane is someone with special needs and is a major fan of myself, as I am more so a bigger fan of Shane. All right, so he's gravitated towards me, and I've opened him up with open arms, and that is I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 famous locations, most certainly, that we'll be cycling to, as well as opening up tickets for tours of each one of those particular sites. Right. So from myself and Brendan, I just want to say, if anyone is looking to most certainly come and be a part of any of these particular sites, or wants to become one of the final members of the cycling crew, you can either do a day or you can do several days with all your accommodation, all your foods included, or just come to the farm and most certainly get the meal provided to you and whoever else comes on the day. Okay, so I just want to wrap up this beautiful podcast and leave Brendan go at the same time. All right, so if anyone is interested in any of those events, just make sure you send myself or Brendan Guinan here from Fearvia Farms a DM with the word cycle, CYLE, and I'll send you on more details and hook you up with the exact link for whatever farm you choose. All right, I always end these podcasts by saying stay tuned, stay classy, and keep it organic. And lastly, get on that good stuff.